Hello, this is Tom Cloud. I've got a special market update for SRS Rocco Report today concerning gold and silver and the many calls and emails we're getting asking us questions. So I want to start with the Libertad, since Steve has already done a tremendous article on it. And the ones of you who haven't seen SRS reports on the Libertad and the possibility of it becoming a legal tender coin again. And certainly we're seeing Libertad orders really pick up, because people buying this thing, if it becomes a legal currency, not only do I have it, but the supply is limited. So demand will pick up and the premium will go way up. So if you're interested in making a play on that, instead of buying Silver Eagles or Maple Leafs or Philharmonics, you may want to look at getting some silver Libertads now while this is going on. It's still, and you can read Steve's article and see how you feel about it, but that's the first thing I wanted to mention. Can you imagine now you needing $200, us just talking dollars, even though it's pesos, you need $200 expense, so you take in 10 coins to the bank and walk out with $200 and pay your bill, and you can keep holding your silver as an inflation hedge and an investment with a expanded premium in your pocket until you need it, or in your safety deposit box. So this could be something big that's around the corner that we'll keep you updated here, as well as Steve will. The other thing we've been getting a lot of questions about is the Chinese yuan, and will there be an official devaluation by the end of this year, 2017? And certainly, I have no inside information. There's a lot of writing. When I was in Europe at the end of August and early September, there's much more rampant talk about it than there is in the U.S. on two fronts. Front number one, that they'll have yuan gold convertible exchange to pay Saudi Arabia for their oil, which would basically break the petrodollar, and the dollar that's already murdered for the year down over 7.5% would then drop faster. And one thing I know from being in this business 42 years, when you have every drop of 1% in the dollar, gold should go up 8-9%. And this year, it's only gone up about 1.75% for each 1% it's gone down, because it's lagging behind, but I can assure you it'll catch up. So if they did go in and kill the petrodollar, the odds are that people like then the Chinese government and the Japanese government would sell their $2.5 trillion of U.S. debt securities, treasury bonds, treasury bills, treasury notes. And then what you would have are escalating interest rates, inflation, because this money had to be replaced, because the market could never sell that, never sell it. It would have to be bought by the Fed or the U.S. Treasury, which is creating money, which is devaluing the dollar further. So do I think it will happen? I do think it will happen. I can't tell you that it'll be by the end of the year, but I think China continues to buy all the gold they can afford and pile it up, knowing they're going to a gold-backed yuan. Then it begs the question I got this morning from an SRS listener saying, do I think that the Treasury will take over from the Federal Reserve and play a bigger power, since the Federal Reserve is talking about starting to liquidate and roll back their debt, which is not good for the U.S. government. And once again, I can't say either way, but I do think it's something we want to keep an eye on. We also keep, and of course, people like Jim Rickards that know a lot more about this than I do are saying that this devaluation is coming. But there's another rumor out there that we're getting a lot of calls on, and that is the call that Trump stands ready as a deal maker and a businessman to react if that takes place. It's not like it's going to blindside him. He's already looking. Munchin, the Treasury Secretary, has been and examined Fort Knox deposits. Of course, they don't tell us what they have, But the question is when, not if, China makes that move, will Trump then move and back the US dollar with gold, or will he create another currency, or will he peg the price of gold at $5,000 to $10,000 an ounce to keep the dollar from completely falling through the floor? And I definitely think this is a real possibility based on people I'm talking to, that the 2% of Americans that own gold are going to be given a free fall profit, while those in paper investments are going to get shellacked. And it has nothing to do with how the economy is doing. Stocks and bonds can still get slaughtered, bonds especially, because interest rates would have to go way up to attract people back into bonds, and if the currency is in a free fall. So please look at it. Once again, I can't confirm it or deny it. I don't have access to that information, but it is a very strong rumor out there. But I can tell you from being in Europe for 2 weeks back at the end of August, they have no confidence in the dollar. They didn't want the US dollar. I'd been there 14 months earlier. This time I was getting $1.19 euro for $1. 19% drop in the dollar against the euro in 14 months. And nobody, they wanted a credit card or a euro payment. They did not want to take the dollar, and even if you paid them $1.20, they didn't want it. They did not want dollars. So I found this really alarming just in 14 months. So yes, that's very bad for the US dollar. And you know, you continue to get questions about shorting. We all are frustrated. We see JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and other major companies move in and take short positions in gold and silver. And the Friday before last, we saw a big move in, the biggest one, the biggest increase we had seen in short positions in quite a while. And of course, it drove silver down from 18 down to where it is now, around 1680. And you look at it and say, how much longer can they do it? And we don't know the answer to that. But here's what I can tell you, is from 2000 to 2012, when they were on the long side of betting to go up, gold went up 12 straight years, and gold went from 256 to over 1800 when it does. So as soon as they get all the physical gold and silver purchased that they want, then they'll move to the paper gold and silver and buy long positions and make the price go up like they did last time. So you want to keep betting that they're going to keep shorting and winning and keep all these millions and hundreds of millions of dollars they're putting into metals and just let it sit there, because basically they're the ones that can take it up at any time they want to. And I do believe, one thing I do agree with the writers out there, is it is going to happen either this year or next year. We're going to see them go from shorting to neutral to long. And then they'll make money on the futures market going up, and they'll make money on the physical market on the gold and silver they've acquired by pushing the prices down. And that will not last much longer. And the other thing we see in coming back from Europe is we're the best place in the world to buy metals. We have the lowest premiums. Americans are not buying metals like the Europeans and the Asians are. They're taking major positions in both the physical as well as the long-term future markets, because they know you can't keep going. Just look at Trump's brokerage deals. Here, he makes a brokerage deal, Pelosi and Reid, and raised the debt ceiling 25% more than Obama ever raised it. $1.25 trillion. Just like that. Now we're talking about brokering tax cuts with the Democrats. And once again, we'll get some kind of cut, and you, the investor, is going to think it's something good. it's something great. You have a few more dollars in your pocket. But how many dollars are you going to lose through the devaluation of the currency? Let me promise you, it's going to be much higher than the amount of money you're going to make by a small tax cut. And people in the upper bracket, I can tell you, you're not going to get a tax cut. Our sources all say the people in the 39% bracket are not going to get a tax cut. The middle class is going to get a small tax cut, but it will be more than offset by the value of dollars they're going to be paid in. And you got to think that through. So Steve wanted me to mention that about my trip and what's going on over in Europe and how they see completely different. And let me end it by saying the biggest news over there is cryptocurrencies, and not the kind that you can buy with Bitcoin and OneCoin and all of these. Those are fiat cryptocurrencies. What backs them is the integrity of the person issuing the coins and the people that are buying it, and what kind of integrity they have and what kind of market they're in. If there are any illegal markets that will eventually bring those down, I can promise you. So I'm talking about the cryptocurrencies that are going to be backed by gold and silver. There'll be tons of gold bought. If you're holding physical gold with these cryptocurrencies, we found out of 3 underdeveloped while we were in Europe that are underdeveloped, expected to be developed no later than mid next year and hopefully by the end of the first quarter. So you have people then can put money out of the FDIC insured money that has very little insurance to back the amount they have deposited if there was a banking crisis here. So when these cryptocurrencies and people around the world start moving out of the banking system and into a cryptocurrency banking system that's backed 100% by gold and silver, and there's a system in place to prove it that makes even banks comfortable saying the gold and silver is there, and there's a way to track it easy for banks and brokerage firms, you're going to see an explosion in cryptocurrencies backed by metal. And as every $100 million that flows into that has got to buy a physical metal to back it. And a year from now, the financial system will not look the same as it does today. So hopefully you've done that, and the ones of you that are customers of ours know we have the lowest storage rates. If you don't want to take possession, you're a larger investor, we have the lowest storage rates because we don't mark storage up any. We've negotiated the best rate in the world and pass it all along to you. So, and we'll even give you the incentive and give you 6 months free rent. And after that, once you have an account with us, you already own metals out paying more than we're charging. We can help you have it moved to the warehouses that we're talking about in 5 different countries. So you need to call us at 800-247-2812. That's 800-247-2812 to discuss that and then discuss our markups. But we don't charge anything to sell it. We have a lot of people that can match our price on the front, because we charge like 2.5% to 3% over our cost for the gold, depending on what the product is and how much you buy. But when we sell it, we don't charge you. So we don't know anybody that can beat the round trip, and especially the storage deal we have, and can get it delivered to you quickly. We have plenty of inventory of everything. But if you're out there looking for a speculative play in silver, get you some Libertads. Now, there's no guarantee, but you will still have a 1-ounce silver coin, just like a Silver Eagle. So there's really no down risk to it. You'll just have some Mexican Libertads, even though there is no guarantee that they will make it a legal tender coin later this year or sometime early next year. But hopefully I've covered all the questions you have emailed me over the past 2 or 3 weeks. And we'll look forward to talking to you. And we'll do another update in 3 or 4 weeks with SRS Rocco. Till the next update, this is Tom Cloud signing out.